let's quickly chat about your previous assessments. So you should now have a broad understanding of what it entails to do radio, in essence, to be a radio presenter, what goes on behind the back. We're going to start talking about jingles and things like that now, which will also help you a lot. I wonder if I'm going to be able to share anything with you now with this computer doing what it's doing. But I want us to run briefly through test. Both of you actually, it's actually quite bad. You are the two that did the best. Shows you people who come on the ones who tend to do well. My whole computer is now freezing. Okay, that's wonderful. Anyway, all right. So when I ask you to localize something, like to localize a game, in your mind, what does that mean? What am I asking you to do?
From my understanding, let's say the assignment says it's a radio station in Durban and creates a game for that station, then I would localize it. Maybe if I want to have a game with music or something, topics, I'll make it related to Durban. So maybe I'd speak about the beach, or I'd speak about the type of music people like in Durban, or anything related to Durban, to localize it to Durban, people who stay in Durban.
100%. So I found a lot of people struggled a little bit with what was meant with localization. So if you need to localize a specific segment, a station like Mhlobo Wenene, Ukhozi FM, Metro FM, 5FM, Lesedi, Motsweding, Palapala FM, etc., etc., they can't localize content because they're too spread out. But if you are Josie FM or YFM or 947 or Jacaranda or East Coast Radio or Algoa, you do localize your content because you want to engage with people that will know what you are referring to, understand what you are talking about. Okay, so for instance, let's say I'm on Alex FM. I can perhaps create a game that says, name the place, and then I give you a couple of clues, and then you name that specific store or street where this is located, right? So I'm localizing it to your community specifically. Or, yeah, that kind of a thing that I just mentioned can be used anywhere. The name the place, name the street, or get to know your city, through different things. So if you see localization, it simply means it's referring to a smaller radio station that's set in a specific footprint, like in a specific area that you're trying to target them, to engage with them so that they can relate to the type of content that you're talking about. Like, for instance, if there was a bridge and we know there might be traffic there and it's in my area, I'm going to say, guys, this morning this thing is packed, avoid it at all costs, rather take this or this route, and we'll let you know if you can take it again tomorrow. Okay, so I'm engaging with you and I am making you I am relating to you as my listener. So that was localization. I think that was the only thing there. Also, when you're asked to record a game, it means record the game. Don't record a promo. Okay, don't say, hi, whatever. Coming up, we will be playing a game where we will guess the lyrics and I will have 2 callers on the air and they can win wonderful prizes. Games are not about prizes. I won't play the game necessarily for a prize. The whole idea is there are so many games out there that you don't win anything for. It's simply because you can relate. Like every Saturday morning, there's this game that I listen to where the presenter asks whether you've done one of these 5 things within the week. And if you have, you just send her a voice note saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, I've done this week. And then she gets a point for the fact that someone has completed that task, right? No prizes involved. So stop focusing on this whole big idea of you have to have a prize in order to win. You don't. It's about your content. If your content is great, you don't need a prize. prizes are something that's part of competitions. It's something I insert when I am doing a massive big campaign and I want high impact. Suddenly, it's not necessarily about loyal listeners, okay? Because I can win a prize on your radio station, but not be loyal to you. So it's about simply engaging, being creative, coming up with the right content. Like, for instance, we're currently busy with a feature. Well, this Friday is the last one. We were doing a feature on Radio 2000, 4 to 5, with a new artist every Friday who came in, liaised for a bit, and last Friday it was Mafiki Zolo, and we also recorded in studio, streamed live. Do you know how much impact we got, how high the listenership was for that show? No competitions, okay? So go away from you have to have a prize involved. So if it's a brand, if I as PepsiCo, I'm sponsoring something and I want a competition, then there has to be a prize involved. If I want a game on air, then there has to be a prize. So that's where prizes come in. Prizes are when something is being sponsored. So you are paying me to do this content, so now I need a prize. Other than that, we don't have prizes. We don't just willy-nilly put prizes on everything, okay? It also defeats the whole purpose. Any questions on that, or do you understand that?
I understand.
Okay. So then with regards to, okay, target market and show you were all quite fine with. Okay, just recap quickly. What does it mean if I say I want to meet a listener's emotional need? What kind of needs do listeners have?
Emotional needs that listeners have. So we're speaking like what kind of emotion do they want to feel when they listen to us, or the emotional need they have.
Why do you tune into radio?
I think many people tune into radio to be happy, to laugh, to be entertained, kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. The main ones, yes.
So I tune in to whatever. Let's say I like listening to Anele in the Club in the mornings on 947. Why? Because I like laughing. So I will listen to them. If I want to be educated, I tune to 702, I tune to Kaya, I tune to Power FM, because now I want to gain knowledge, okay, in something. If, I don't know, I want to learn more about a specific topic and I know there's a feature coming up, I will tune in for that, okay? Because our biggest emotional need is to what? Laugh, positivity. We want those happy feelings. We want your positivity to drive us. So that, and then how do you help us with that? By being positive, uplifting, by not making me cry in the mornings, by giving me fun, but also by informing me of what has happened the evening before so that I know what is going on, for instance, etc. Okay, so that was quite an easy one. The 6 rules of on-air personality was also one that some of you struggled with. And then it came to storytelling. So first and foremost, what is a CHR radio station?
Isn't it like a contemporary hit radio station?
Okay, so what does that mean? It means it's a top 40 radio station. So it means doing top 40 content. For instance, my third years at the moment have an opportunity with 5FM where some of them are doing a show live once a week on a Thursday evening, which means you have to prep for that specific radio station, and the content won't be the same as the content for instance, YFM, because Y and 5 doesn't have the same listenership. Just as it doesn't have the same listenership as all the other radio stations. So you must always make sure what it is that we are saying here. And when it comes to what kind of articles will be interesting for CHR, it's exactly you. You are that age group. So anything that you find relatable. Remember, there's things that you can always talk about, which is things like pop culture or money, Heart, aka relationships, and lifestyle topics. That's topics that absolutely everyone in the world can relate to on some level or another. So that's always things that you can talk about and just rediscuss it. Power spots, majority of you actually did really well in. Yay, very glad about that one. Then just quickly, what is meant by never letting a listener feel the format? Never let you feel the format.
I think it means to never let the listener feel like the structure of the clock. So don't like make them feel that, okay, after news, we're going into music or we're going into a spot or we're going into a link kind of thing. Just make it flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. I'm currently busy with this with my third years because you must actually listen. If you hear, but it's not always them, but they're doing it live. And if they make mistakes, you must come and tell me so that I can like address it with them. But anyway, so on page 57 of Beyond Powerful Radio, it says here, don't use radio speak. Okay. So in other words, don't say segment. Don't say this program. Don't say forecast. What's another one that they said yesterday? Topic. The topic for today is. Never say that. You just conversationally start with your topic. Okay. So you want to be as natural sounding as possible, because why is it that someone should be listening to this? There should be something of benefit in it for the listener. So if you're saying, here's your traffic, then they know that traffic is coming up. Also, never say break. That came up a lot, as we'll be back after the break or something about a break. Break is TV talk. Okay, we don't say break in radio. Why don't we say break in radio?
Because normally on TV, if you say a break, it's time for us to get off from the couch and go grab a snack or pee. And we don't want our listeners to tune out when we say that on radio.
Exactly. Why? Because we know then ads are coming up. Also, never say ads are coming up. Like, do a throw forward to something cool that is coming up that would want me to keep saying and keep listening to what it is that you are talking about at the moment, right? Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose, because then you lose me, and then what else are we going to be talking about, or whom else am I going to be talking to, seeing as you won't be there anymore. Okay, so never let the listener feel the format refers to the formulaicness, so not letting me know or feel that I am on air with you, or that you have a strict guideline that you're following. What is appointment listening?
It's like your features and stuff. So you know that, okay, at 12 o'clock, this happens on Metro FM and I'm interested, and I'm going to make sure I tune in every time at 12 o'clock.
100%. So I make an appointment to tune in to a specific time on radio because there's a specific segment, show, feature that I really want to listen to, and I make it part of my daily routine. It's aimed at my P2 listeners, my secondary listeners, to try and grab them in. Okay. Right. Some people struggled with a promise and a performance link. Let me check the names. It's none of you in here, so I'm not going to recap that. I think you're all fine with what a promise and a performance link was. Show prep. So what I quickly want to just mention with regards to the recording. So the most important question of your life. I don't know how often you listen to podcasts, but a podcast that always has a story about the person in them, right? Again, I'm preaching to the choir because those of you that are in here actually did well. But the whole idea, what I want is you still need to do your formatics, so your obligations rather, and then you still need a hook, and then you need to tell me a story Like, why are we talking about this topic? What made you decide to talk about this kind of a topic? And then you relate to that article that you found, mentioning said article that you found, and chatting a little bit about that and how you incorporate or do things in your life with your strong opinions, and then your summary, right? Always also remember that if you're doing a reference list, and when we give you anything like this, you always have to reference the references that we give you, because we are giving you references, which means you have to use it. Okay. And then last thing I want to briefly mention to you is ChatGPT. So I am not against ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is to be used as Wikipedia would be used. So it's a tool whose facts need to be double checked. Okay, it's great with helping you, giving you guidelines and assisting you with certain things. But again, like Wikipedia, also a lot of the times have mistakes. Okay, ChatGPT does the same thing. Also, the references that you get on ChatGPT do not exist in real world. Why? Because ChatGPT drags things from different sources across the internet and puts it into this thing. And there's no one reference for it. So whenever I copy a reference that anyone has used ChatGPT for, and I put it into Google to try and find it, it's not there. Okay, it doesn't exist. So again, like I said, ChatGPT is a great tool in life to help us with certain things, to make our lives a little bit easier, to cut out hours of work. But Wikipedia, it's a tool. It's not something you copy and paste. Got it?
Yes, got it.
Great. Right. So last semester, we ended off speaking about paid, earned, and owned media. So what's the difference between paid, owned, and earned media? I just want to do a little bit of a recap to make sure our brains are all still working after the long holiday where you had time to empty them. What is paid media? All right. Give me a second, I'm going to help you. Right. So blah, 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 blah. Paid media, everything I pay for. Where is it on the slide now? Oh, it's not on this slide. Is it on the other one then? Okay, let's talk about owned media first, because that's what's on this slide. So we get owned media, and paid media. In any campaign, any successful campaign, we want all three. Okay. So for instance, I have a campaign coming up, which is called SA's Biggest Breakfast. Yes. And what we are doing is we don't have a big budget, but we're trying to make as big impact as possible with the budget that we have. So we are putting a morning segment on the morning show on ETV for 4 weeks. We're doing one segment in Morning Live in ETV. We are doing social media posts, influencer social media posts from the radio station breakfast presenters, posts online, and what am I missing? And we have chefs getting involved, and then there's a PR side to this whole thing where the PR side will take all content and post it on the client's social media pages, clients' websites, etc. So there, through those two things I just mentioned, we have been utilizing paid media and owned media. Okay, we use paid and owned media in order for us to try and get earned media, because I want you to engage with me. If I can get all three of these in a campaign, my campaign's chances of being a success is pretty high, right? So what we're doing is we're posting engaging content, asking for feedback from listeners, from people who have a lot of followers. So we want people to engage. And as soon as they start engaging or liking or sharing or commenting or reviewing, that's earned media, straightforward, immediately. Okay. So it's owned media and paid media, and then we get earned media. So this point of intersection where owned, earned, and paid media culminate in a comprehensive marketing strategy, that's what we want always, at all times. So owned media is what I own, brand-driven, unique to each particular brand. Your radio station's brand can control what is published and shared on the station's voice. So a radio station's owned media is their airtime, their content, right? They own the content. They don't own the songs. They own the content. Also, their websites, any microsites they might build, any blogs or blog sites, social media platforms. We know that it is, but it isn't. By the way, have you seen that Twitter is now an X? I thought that was quite interesting. Any mobile apps or Mobi sites, etc. So that's all owned media. Owned media, we spoke about the 3 C's. So content, community, and context. So what did that refer to? The foundations of an owned media strategy are your content channels, the vehicles through which you deliver your content to audiences directly, unmediated by a third party, like your website, your mobile apps, and social media. The key to a successful content channel is that you have engaging content that's relevant, that's valuable, and that you're using all available data to personalize the experience for your user. We're going to chat about that just now. Community. While content channels focus on the connection between you and your customer, community emphasizes the connections your customers have with one another. So virtual communities, private social networks, in-person gatherings and events, okay? Discussion forums where we can all chat, all indirect, like peer benchmarking. And then context, once again, you need some kind of a mechanism for turning isolated interactions into a connected experience. This requires an ability to capture data and turn data into value for the customer. AI. Loyalty and reward programs provide this type of context for business to customer companies, while strategic account and relationship management programs do the same for business to business. So again, what is an example in radio for business to business?
I think business to business. So that's the radio station to another, maybe like the brand they want to work with, maybe like, let's say Coca-Cola, or the agency that's helping for Coca-Cola.
The client, advertisers.
Yes.
Business to customer.
That's from the radio station to their listeners.
Yes, 100%. So the interesting thing, though, about radio is my client can become my listener. If I start listening to you when you are broadcasting my products, then I can start listening to you and become a valued client. Or I can be a client that then decides to become a contributor, a business, a client, start providing you with advertising. Okay, so it can go both ways in radio. Okay, so now you should remember what we spoke about with regards to media, earned, owned, and paid media. What I want to show you now, I don't know if you've been following. I can see we're only 3 people now. It's wonderful. Something interesting. That's why I said I'm going to stop on or earmark owned media, because there's something interesting at the moment that I want to refer you to, or well, not refer you to, talk to you about. What do you think the influence is for AI and where we are in radio at the moment?
I personally don't know. I'm still new to this whole AI thing. I still need to like do my research and see how it goes and stuff. Because the first time it came, I was really not interested. I was like more technology. So, but I need to learn about it because it seems like it can help in some spheres of our lives and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yes, that indeed it can, eh? It's quite interesting. Anyone else know anything about AA?
I mean, I've once heard about it on YFM where they were playing like music, songs, and it was Drake's voice, and then it was AI's voice, but it sounded like it was Drake. I don't know about it though, but I just heard about it on YFM.
So that you just mentioned, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Are you aware that at the moment in America there's a strike? That the Artists Association are striking at the moment. So if you weren't, now you are. There are two reasons that they're striking. The first reason is exactly that. The fact that AI, first and foremost, is taking away jobs, because there was a photo shoot, okay, an actual photo shoot that took place where AI did this whole photo shoot. So I don't know how much you know about a normal photo shoot if it was like a food photo shoot. So normally you would have, well, obviously the chef and the restaurant, and servers, and then the food stylist. You would have a model, you would have a makeup artist, you would have photographers, you would have like a producer or someone like looking out for this whole thing. So there's already 7 people, right? Normally that would be on the set. So someone did this whole thing with AI, simply took a model's face, put the model's face on there. So one of the things that they're talking about is that because our laws at the moment, our regulations, we don't have the correct regulations in place for this, which is interesting because when ChatGPT started, it took them 5 years to build this thing, right? So they went to the high court in America and they told them, listen, guys, this thing is rolling out. You need to get laws in place. So they were actually very responsible before launching. And still nothing is in place anyway. So that's the one thing. Then the other thing that they're complaining about is the fact that majority of movies and things now go on streaming platforms, right? So everything gets streamed now, which is fine in essence, except that let's say you got paid per cinema, as like an amount for every play that it does. On streaming, they pay you a lump sum prior, and then you might, depending on who you are, how big you are, you might get $1 cent per streaming or $1 per streaming of your thing, which is in essence extremely low, okay, for these guys. And this is now where I'm referring to someone like Netflix. So there's nothing in place for them. There's no body in place to look after it. So for instance, if you look at radio has a lot of different what we call CMOs. Okay, we have SAMRA, we have SAMPRA, we have IMPRA, we have RISA, etc., etc. We have one of them who just looks after the needle time. So in other words, how often did your song play on all the radio stations so that we can get you money for all your needle time rights, like so that you can get your money. There isn't something like that yet for TVs, for movies, which is the other part of the strike. So it's really interesting at the moment to follow that. Anyway, that has absolutely nothing to do with really the AI side of it. But what I want to show you is twofold. Where's that article? Sorry, just give me a second. This thing is doing its... I think my computer is saying I need a new one. Anyway, so let me just show you this so long. So personally, I'm very curious about AI and about what it can do for us. So here is the first one I want to show you, okay? So it's Radio GPT powered by AI. So what do? They are playing music and music and music, okay? So this whole article is about futuristic capabilities of this disruptive technology raise expectation and job fears. So then they talk about, will ChatGPT really be able to take away jobs? So Futury is part of Radio GPT, where they've created the world's first 100% AI-driven radio hosts. So it's got GPT-3, voice tech, and story discovery or social content system. So it scans social media and 250,000 other sources of information to identify topics and trends. AI then creates a script for on-air use and then puts AI voices to it. So what are your thoughts on that before I continue?
So that means at some point AI will be able to have like a whole entire radio show with not even one presenter, one station manager, none of that, just AI.
Technically, it can already.
Damn.
But what is the reason we listen to radio for?
Exactly. We listen for personality and all of that jazz, and ChatGPT and whatever this is won't give us that. Thanks.
Okay, we start listening for the music, we stay for the people, right? Celebs will always be celebs. AI is never going to become a celeb. Okay, we're always going to have influencers that we want to follow. There's always going to be people that we look up to and that we would like to be like. Also, engagement. ChatGPT cannot engage with you like on social media and on other levels. They might be able to get to a point where they can do calls, but again, you're not going to be talking to a person. So are you really going to call? I'm not going to. I will phone them if I have an issue, yes, but not like for other things. So there are certain things that I personally think some of this will be very useful to us. Make no mistake, okay? There are reasons that companies like, for instance, Alpha Media has started looking into it. So conceptualizing use cases, Canada, Rogers Sports and Media is dabbling into it. So there's reasons that people are looking into this. But it's never going to be a case of, in my point of view, never will this be able to take over. It can help radio managers, okay? Radio managers, we're not at a point where they need to be leaning into and embracing this new technology. However you do it, just you can't keep now like pushing back against it. Okay. So here they speak about what about risk to jobs. And then they say, I think about farming, advances in equipment didn't put farmers out of business, it made them more efficient. Now, many successful farmers utilize AI to analyze weather patterns, make predictions, and optimize their crop growth. AI provides great insight, take attribution, and proof of performance. Without real data, stations and advertisers are merely guessing at what's working. This is 100% correct. Without AI, It can take a long time to sift through content archives to find a clip that you might need. Okay, with AI, it can be done in seconds. So with synthetic voices, creators can use their voice in 2 or more places at once. So you can use your own voice and use your own voice to be somewhere else at the same time also, again. Also multiple languages. Yeah, not so sure about African languages yet, but anyway. So there are a lot of good things about making use of AI in this industry, but what I'm getting at is personalities can't be substituted. Think about festivals. We go to see the bands. We go to see the DJs live. Will you go if it's just going to be generic music being played?
No. Where's the fun in that?
We go to see the personalities, okay? The media industry, AI can help us a lot. It's never going to take over the jobs, though. There are certain positions that AI will be filling in the world, 100%, but media, luckily, not so much all of them. So in TV, there will be a few cases. So producers may be streamlined, and like cameramen maybe, I don't know. There's like, we'll see. South Africa, first and foremost, is very far behind. So not quite there yet. But when it comes to actual personalities and real storytellers, not so much. Okay. So what I want you to know is it can assist us. That was the first thing I wanted you to see. Next one. So if you don't ever read Radio Today, it's a UK, like it's kind of like Biz Community. You must follow them because everything that happens, like, well, Radio Today is only radio, but Biz Community talks about everything. So then you can get an idea of what's happening in the media. So which one are you seeing now? I don't know. Are you seeing one that's saying webinar, or are you seeing one that says the new playout one?
The new playout one.
Okay, so you're on the same one here. So this article, again, how is AI going to change the industry? So what they speak about here is just telling you a little bit more about how AI does work through algorithms and data, etc. So how can it be used in broadcasting? To a certain extent, it has already been used in broadcasting for a long time, especially with iHeartMedia and iHeartRadio. They've been using it for a while. So here again, while a human DJ can't be replaced, an algorithm could take over as a producer, selecting tracks that would work best. But that's not all that a producer does, okay? So a content producer, it won't be able to take over. It can assist you in your songs for your playlist, sure, but that's about it there. So technology, like I said, already in use. iHeartMedia has been making use of these algorithms for a couple of years, okay, to determine what music is played. And they have like over 500 radio stations. So there are various AI and machine learning solutions that aid with the creation of musical components, etc., etc. AI could be used to improve signal strength, making it easier for people to listen to their favorite radio shows, no matter where they are. So the future of radio may look very different from today, with new innovations potentially changing how radio broadcasts will work. And as it should, because it's completely different now from what it was 15 years ago. The ultimate aim is to create a better experience for listeners, allowing them to enjoy their favorite broadcasts and bringing radio to a wider audience. So why am I telling you all these things? There's one more I'm going to just quickly show you. Because you are the generation of AI, whether you want to be or not. You are at the point of starting your careers is going to be surrounded by AI. So whether you want to embrace it or not, you got to. Okay, so start looking into AI, start familiarizing yourself with it, and learning how to use it, because like I said, it can be used to your advantage as well. So last one I wanted to show you here quickly. So when your radio station should and should not use AI. Okay, so for instance, do use AI to write general website and emails? Fine. Don't use AI to write things which require looking into the future. It can't do that. No predictability, okay? Because AI relies on things that are already out there. So it can't tell you that this is the 5 stuff that's happening this weekend, like 5 things to do around town this weekend. It's not going to give you a very good answer right now, okay? You can use it to compile information for research or show prep. Here's where it can help you save hours, okay? That's like I said, like a Wikipedia, it's a tool. Can be a useful tool when compiling other people's research on a topic. If you're writing a story on a subject that requires background research, background research. So do not use as is ever. But use AI to scour the internet and collect information for you, so to help you, especially when you're blocked, right? Not all of us are generators. So if you're a reactor, you can use this perhaps as a tool to help you generate ideas, to get your brain going a little bit, to assist you a bit. Then don't use AI to conduct primary research. AI is not a substitute for primary research. It can't fact check. Again, Wikipedia. Journalists are right to be wary of AI because currently it can't do what they do. It may never be able to. It just gives you the info that's out there, which is in essence, which can be dangerous, like I said. So it depends on what you're using it for. Stories, great. News or credible, anything, not. AI can be used, voices can be used for commercials. So, okay, well, it depends on the situation. I'm not really for this because people get paid to do that. But I mean, if you need something within 15 minutes and you need to get it done, then you can technically use AI if nothing else. But this is a big thing. This is what's been happening. And the celebs are going to sue, I can promise you. Don't use AI to replicate the voices of celebs, okay? There are massive legal implications. Like, imagine if someone is using your face on some sort of a campaign and you just randomly run into this thing. Are you going to be okay with that? I know I won't. I'm going to take you on. So just imagine what they will do if they can see it, or if someone makes them known. Do use AI to write commercials if your sales department can't. I won't ever do this, but I mean, if people can't write ads, sure, you can give it a try and then tweak it. But I'm a firm believer in working with expert storytellers, so rather writing the stuff ourselves. But again, it can help you if you are a reactor, so that you can come up with something better. Don't use AI to write commercials if your production department can. Okay, if you have a brilliant copywriter, stay there. You can use AI to voice production elements, like sometimes you just need an anonymous voice for sweepers. That's true, okay? So sometimes you can do things like that. Don't try to pass off AI as human on-air talent. It's not going to work. You can try, but it's not the same thing, okay? So a lot of the discussion revolves around whether or not it can be used to replace live DJs. So evening slots, maybe, like overnight holidays, blah, blah, blah. But it's not ever going to be able to do what people can do, okay? Do use AI to create new efficiencies, aka coming up with new ways or easier ways to work with things, because AI is a tool that can help you do your jobs more efficiently. But don't use AI to cut corners like the campus students love doing. Okay. So don't use it to try and be cheap, because it's made to be efficient. It's not made to be cheap. Okay. What that means is don't use it because you're trying to get out of paying something or another, or because you're, in essence, trying to cut out personalities and certain things, because it won't work. Then your radio station is going to fail. If you're terrible at writing concluding paragraphs for your blog posts, do ask AI to do it for you. But again, edit it, okay? Don't use as is. Right, okay, so that's all I wanted to show you on the AI stuff. Do you have a better understanding now about AI in terms of radio and where it can fit in?
Yes, now I understand a little bit, yes, on how it can fit in, yes.
And are you now going to start using it?
As I did say, I saw something where like it could help you like create a schedule for your day or content creation schedule kind of thing. And I really love that. So
That
as I
makes
said, like
sense.
there are some things that come with it that could be helpful to us. I just have to like research and use it wisely and what, yeah.
And get used to it. I think that's the big thing, is people
Yes.
people are wary because they don't fully understand it and understand how to make use of this thing to get the best out of it. And that takes time. There are a lot of short courses as well and things like that, but I mean, you can teach yourself as well, because I've been interested in AI, and for the last about 4 years I've really started looking into it, like seriously. So I know a lot more about it, but I mean, the stuff that it can be used for, that you can make with it. Like I do QR codes. I make in like a second for whatever, for pretty much anything. Where is, oh, no. I thought I opened a PowerPoint, but I didn't. I opened a doc. Where is that PowerPoint now then? I definitely downloaded it yesterday. See, AI can make this easier for me as well. Right, anyway, so what we're going to start doing now is looking at imaging. That's the next section for us. Let's, if I can find my, I'm going to have to search for that PowerPoint because it's gone missing in action, but that's fine. Got this one. There are so many things, if you have a lot of things open on your computer, then you struggle to find your meeting again. So I just struggle to find mine. So this is part 2 of 3. I'm going to find part 1 now, because that's actually technically where we're starting. Okay. But what we're looking at is Cullinan and Nash. Okay. So, Cullinan and Nash. Yes, next level radio. Okay. So let me just tell you what the starting page is. All right, page 235 in your textbook is where we will be starting. Page 235. So when I say imaging, the word imaging to you, what does that mean? What do you think it means?
I think imaging is on radio, obviously it's a sound, but it's a sound of the image that you want to associate with your radio kind of thing. So it's like those many clips that you hear that they'll be like, you're tuned into YFM or whatever kind of thing, gives the the station and image kind of thing?
Yes. Okay, you're correct. So it's part of your brand. That's what it comes down to. Okay, it needs to sound like your brand. So your radio station would have one overall sound. And that overall sound tells me what type of radio station this is, what I'm listening to at the moment. And imaging encompasses all of that. So imaging is any kind of sound that tells you about my product, whatever it is, okay, any product that you're trying to build around. So it's one of the elements of branding. I just downloaded there we go, the correct one again. So what they say here in your textbook starting is, imaging is the produced content that we hear on the radio between songs and adverts and before, after, or in the middle of speaking sequences. So that's what imaging is in a nutshell, right? Go back. Yay, correct one. Okay. So that's what we're starting with. So what functions do imaging perform? It tells the listener what show or radio station they are currently listening to, right? I hope it does, it should. It creates breaks in speech to attract attention or emphasize something. So this second point would be, for instance, if I have a radio drama and I want to create suspense, then I'll do like a violin kind of a thing. Or if I'm on a talk radio station, I would play a jingle to break content pieces, because on a talk radio station, I might have more than one topic that I'm discussing in one link, because they can do it and they can do it well, okay? Music radio, one topic only. Remember the Mexican on the bicycle. Talk radio, they use different ones, but then they break the speech, like they end the topic with like using audio jingles. And then number 3, it relays specific messaging by creating a sense of excitement. If there's something great coming up, I create a wonderful ad to let you know, like to create this massive sense of excitement for you, like a promo kind of a thing, okay? So imaging is purposefully played to help you as a listener recall the name of the radio station that you are listening to. Literally, that's what it does. It helps you recall. That's why after every single song played on air, you play a jingle. That jingle will say, you are listening to YFM, okay? Recall. I keep doing it over and over and over and over again so that it's stuck in your mind. Having memorable imaging helps diary respondents, again, BRC RAMs. So it helps diary respondents for listenership figures to remember what radio stations that they have listened to, okay? So that is kind of the purpose behind it. So recall, important for us. Why is recall important for us? Because of our BRC RAMs. And what does our BRC RAMs currently look like? Yeah, man. Looks like this. Hold up, where is that? Ha, okay. Looks like so. No, not this one, that one. This is the top 20 commercial radio stations currently in South Africa. Firstly, Ukhozi FM, it's a PBS, public broadcaster, Zulu, 7.597 million listeners. Number 2, Metro FM, 4.353 million listeners. Umhlobo Wenene, 4.090. Lesedi, 3.597. Motsweding, just over 3 mil. Tobela, then Radio 2000, then Kagazi. Okay, I'm going to stop there quickly. With the exception of Metro, right, which is second here. Number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is a what? African language station, right? ALS, PBS, public broadcasters. And Metro is also SABC. So what is interesting? These are all SABC radio stations. What does this tell us? It tells us people want to listen to radio in their own language. They want to be able to relate to the content, okay? Engagement. And then we have Gagazi, which is the second biggest commercial radio station with 1.4. Gagazi in Durban being English and Zulu, once again, language, okay? Mungana Lonene language, Ligwala Gwala language. Jacaranda will always have a big loyal following because it's got Afrikaans in there as well. Palapala language, RSG language. Then we have East Coast Radio, which is the next one, which is not as, which is just normal commercial. Okay, can you see the trend here? You should see the trend. It's very interesting. What is also interesting here is to see that where KFM is with 1.1 mil, 947 under it, 1.72, 5FM, 940, then YFM. Okay, and then Heart. Now, community. Firstly, Josie. Okay, Josie's actually gone down. It used to be on like 600,000. So I'm interested to see what the next quarter stats will give us. So Josie FM, biggest, it will always probably be. Izwi Lomzansi, they did a massive campaign 2 years ago, which I think helped them a lot. Anyway, second in KZN, Voice of the Cape, Teta FM in Gauteng, Radio Zubanele in Cape Town, actually Kalicha, Nongoma FM, KZN, Ikora in Epangeni, Vembe in Limpopo, Mai King, Alfred Nzo, Radio Kwezi, and then Radio Tygerberg, which is interesting because it is a Christian radio station. CCFM is also a Christian radio station. Then Kasi, Moteo, Maputoland, Inanda, Kurara, Pumazi, and then Bulk Radio, which is Afrikaans. Okay. So these are, I just wanted to give you an idea of the radio station. So this is how it's currently sitting, right? So that is why recall is so important, because these stations are my direct competition. Okay, we are all fighting to get a piece of this landscape to be able to broadcast content, well, to increase my listenership so that I can sell more advertising and make more money. When should you and should you not be using imaging? Imaging should always communicate something that you as a presenter are not saying. So if you're not saying the radio station's name, your imaging will say it. Okay, for instance, you should never repeat something that was in your imaging, and similarly, imaging shouldn't repeat what you've just said. So let's say you say, thank you for joining in on the afternoon drive show with blah, 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 blah. And then right before that, you had a piece of imaging which said the drive show with blah, 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 blah. Don't do that, okay? We don't repeat things. Imaging is there to do certain things specifically, to enhance, to emphasize, to provide more details, to reiterate, to remind your audience of something, okay? Successful imaging should be well produced, consistently programmed, and functionally used. I'm going to play you a few produced clips tomorrow so you can hear just the kind of things that we are referring to. So imaging should make a station listenable and enjoyable. Okay, you should be able to remember it, and it should, like I said, fit in with the vibe of that radio station, like seamlessly, technically. Station imaging should create a strong brand signature, create a comfort zone for listeners, and complement effective programming and messaging. So if I have a radio station, like, let's say, what is an old radio station? Let's say HRTCR2. So that radio station has people that are pretty much all retired, lots of retired people listening to that. And now let's say our imaging, we create this hard rock imaging on there. What do you think is going to happen if suddenly, like, the presenter's talking and everything's going fine, and the next second there's this hard rock piece going rah, 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 as a jingle? It's not going to go down well. They are going to get so many complaints and people with heart attacks in the hospital. I don't know what else. Okay, doesn't work because it doesn't fit your radio station. It doesn't fit your image, your brand. Okay, so it's really, really important that these need to be thought out really well before you simply start recording them. Normally, it goes hand in hand with your station plan, like the kind of sound you want your station to have. And you have a couple of different ones because you will have different types of shows, and you still want your show to have a little bit of its own identity while fitting in with the radio station sound. So there's a lot of thinking behind this. Okay, so many stations also add call to actions in their imaging. So SMS us on blah, 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 or visit our website on blah, 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 etc., etc. Creative program managers, producers, and presenters use imaging as elements that will tell stories more effectively. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop us here now, because as soon as I get into promotions, the promotion segments, and explaining that to you and playing audio to you, we're going to go way time. And I need to be at BMH at 10 for a feedback session with the third years. So tomorrow we are going to be looking at so imaging, so production, promos, beds and jingles, donuts, liners, and voices. So the different types of imaging as a whole. Okay, so we'll start again tomorrow morning at 8:20. But all I need you to have gotten from today, at least, was understanding the submissions for your assignments, understanding those questions that we just briefly ran through again that I wasn't sure if you understood. Recap of owned, earned, and paid media, and then understanding that we are entering a new era where AI is part of it, but to be used as a tool, not as the go-to. And especially now, when we're talking about imaging and audio production, you'll see that AI will actually be able to assist a lot with this kind of process as well. Not taking away jobs, making it easier, making it quicker, okay, assisting you. So, like I say, just quickly again, because I see we got someone back who left, who fell off. Imaging has three functions. It tells the listener what show or radio station they are listening to, creates breaks in speech on talk radio to attract attention or emphasize something, relays specific messaging by creating a sense of excitement. It's there for recall, okay, for our stats, our BRC RAM figures. It is part of my brand, my overall brand of my radio station. It will enhance, emphasize, provide more details, reiterate something, or remind the audience of something. It needs to be enjoyable and listenable, and it might have a call to action. Okay, any questions? I feel like I was rambling off exceptionally fast, so I hope like you got all of that.
All is good on my side.
Okay, right, so then I shall see you at 8:20 tomorrow morning. I'm really hoping my computer is going to be fixed as well. I'll sort it out. And then we continue from page 235 in Next Level Radio tomorrow. Okay, have a good afternoon.